Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny day. Ready for some drama from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's ex-wife, who kicked OP out of her house, but now is furious because guess who bought the house after OP lost it? Listen to the story to find out all of the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 42 male, have 2 children, 12 female and 10 male, by my ex-wife Amanda, 45 female. And the last 2 years of our marriage was not good, and the divorce was messy. We argued a lot, and then one day, I came home and my locks had been changed. Since the house we lived in was technically in her grandmother's name, there wasn't much legal recourse that I could take, and because the kids had lived there for most of their lives, they wanted to stay with mommy, and I got them every other weekend. Didn't stop her from forgetting the custody agreement and scheduling fun activities that the children wanted to do and make me look like the bad guy if I forced the kids to come with me. To top it off, Amanda would bring in her new boyfriend to spend nights over, and I couldn't stand it. Just want to help create the picture here. Fast forward to last year. Amanda inherits the house and her boyfriend convinces her to take out a loan against the house to help pay for, I have no idea what, and it fell through. Amanda also lost her job and was in danger of losing her house. She came to me to ask me for help so that our children could keep their home. But I told her I didn't have the money. At the time, I honestly didn't, because I was in between jobs. Otherwise, I might have given her at least some of what she asked for, so the kids didn't have to move. Amanda thought I was lying and said that if she couldn't get the money, she would have to move and was considering going out of state. I knew this was a threat, reiterated what I already said, and reminded her that while she had physical custody, she legally couldn't keep the children in another state without informing me when, where, or keep them out of state for more than several days without my permission, and that I would involve the police if she tried anything. In the end, the bank took the house, and she and the children were forced to move. I helped moving my children's things, and my daughter was absolutely heartbroken. By that time, I had a better job, rebuilt my credit, and inherited a nice little chunk of money myself, and decided to put in an offer. I got the house, had a few things remodeled, and then surprised my daughter with the news on her birthday. She and my son were ecstatic and asked if they could come live with me. Obviously, I agreed, because I missed my kids and was happy that I was able to give them their home back. Amanda wasn't happy and accused me of deliberately allowing her house to be repossessed by the bank so I could buy it, and made her look like the bad guy after making the kids move. I knew it looked bad, and I tried to explain myself, but I got nowhere. Amanda cried and demanded an apology, and I told her the only thing I needed to be sorry for was not choosing a better woman as the mother of my children. It's been a year since then, and Amanda is still pretty cold and bitter towards me, and my sister thinks I could have been nicer at the time. So, am I the a-hole? I have mixed feelings on this one. Firstly, I want to say OP's ex-wife is in the wrong here, without a shadow of a doubt. What she did to OP sounds pretty unforgivable. But I feel like buying that particular house was less about making children feel good, and more about making OP feel good. I think everyone sucks here. But just because OP and his ex are both the a-hole, it doesn't mean that OP's ex doesn't deserve some karma. OP should do what's best for his kids. There's nothing worse than having both parents try to use you as a weapon against the other. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. DSDDS232 says, "Not the a-hole. Divorce is messy, and you've tried your best to help within your means. The fact that you managed to get the house back later is a great gesture for your kids, but you don't owe it to your ex anymore to get it for her. You got it for the kids, so you get to live there now. Too bad for her, but I can imagine she's going around giving her twisted version of the story. Just hope it won't affect your relationship with your kids in the long run." Josie Waforel says, "Not the a-hole. Amanda was being reckless with the home when she took out a loan she didn't need and couldn't afford to pay back. She was the bad guy." Squeaky Little Cat says, "I don't even know what to say to this. Assuming your intentions were pure, and buying the house wasn't kind of vengeance as in, ha, look at where you are now. I still don't think it was a good idea. I have a really hard time believing that you bought the house for noble reasons. To be clear, I'm not saying that you should have helped her out. I don't think that. I just don't think that you should have bought the house. It almost seems like you're gloating in a passive way." My husband and I always plan a big family vacation with my older sister's family and sister-in-law's family and all the children, 1 through 4 years old, every year. We have our own business and make good money, so we help pay for everyone else, and they're always great trips. We used to invite my younger sister, 21 female, and pay for her expenses too. But we told her we wouldn't be doing that for next year's family vacation. When we have these vacations, everyone helps out with the kids except my younger sister, who says it's not her responsibility. For example, we were at an amusement park and we were all taking turns watching the kids so that the adults could ride some of the adult-only rides. But she would not stay with the kids even once. She will sometimes leave the family group and go do her own thing solo and come back at the end of the day because traveling with all the kids is annoying to her. She refuses to help feed, dress, or watch the kids while the rest of us help each other out. It has just rubbed my husband and I the wrong way, and we told her we would no longer be paying for her. I know she can't afford to come on her own, and my parents don't have too much money to help cover her costs either. She's been really angry with us, saying we were purposely punishing her because she won't help us with our kids. Am I the a-hole here? Edit. She is still invited to the trips, but my husband and I are just finding it hard to drop almost $2,000 per trip on her when she completely ignores all the kids, and sometimes us as well, going off solo on these trips that we had intended as a family bonding kind of thing for the kids. We do expect her to cover her own costs going forward. Edit. This will be the 4th trip we're going on. We did not tell her before the previous trips that we were expecting her to babysit our children in exchange for us paying. We did tell her that we were planning a vacation for all the kids and asked if she wanted to come with us. After the first trip and her totally ignoring the kids, we asked her to try to make more of an effort bonding with the kids, since that is what the trip is for. The last 2 trips, she has acted the same, ignoring all the kids for the most part, which is why we let her know we would not be paying for her trip next time. Edit. Really annoyed with people saying I'm mad because my younger sister no longer wants to babysit on family trips. Let me be very clear. She has not babysat at all or shown any interest in any of the kids the past 3 trips. We have asked her for things mentioned above, like helping dress one of the kids when we were in a rush to head out, or buying a kid an ice cream from a store over there and feeding her because she wants one, or going on a ride with one of the kids. She just says no 90% of the time, despite knowing that the entire point of these trips were for her to bond with the kids. We have not dumped the kids, 6 of them total, with her once, nor would we. Maybe we'll ask her along with another adult or 2 to watch them for a bit while we go do parent things. I do not understand how this is babysitting. I am not rich enough where I'm paying $2,000 a year to spend time with my sister. I'm spending all this money to make memorable moments for my kids, and my sister does not seem to want to spend time with the kids, or us, randomly wandering off some days. There are plenty of other opportunities year-round where she can come hang out with the family for free. We are not paying for my parents or my father-in-law, mother-in-law to go on these trips either. We're not walking ATMs. We wanted all the kids to be together for these trips and offered to pay for my sister because we didn't want her to be the only sibling left out. We paid 100% for my sister while only paying 30 to 40% of everyone else's costs, although the other adults are in their 30s. Edit. We're not going to hire a babysitter because we don't need one. All the parents will continue to split responsibilities without her contribution, just as we have done so for the past couple of trips. We all just find it disrespectful that she refuses to interact with the kids or help out with them for even the smallest things, when I've expressed to her in the past 2 trips that we want her to come on these vacations to spend time with her nieces and nephews. Well, sounds like OP's generosity comes with strings attached. I mean, I can't really call OP an a-hole, but I also agree with her. I don't think it's any of her responsibility to help with kids on her vacation. OP decided to have kids, and while it would be nice if she did help, I think OP is a little entitled by expecting her to. If OP wants someone to help and has so much money, then hire a babysitter. OP should be inviting her sister because OP enjoys her company, and not because OP wants childcare. However, OP is doing something nice by helping pay for her vacation, and OP doesn't have to do that. And of course, sister sounds very entitled to be angry and upset. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Lightwood Orchestra says, "You're the a-hole. She's a family member, not a babysitter. If your generosity is contingent on her working for you for free, it's not generosity. Why would she even want to come on a vacation like that?" Reddit DK2 says, "No a-holes. She's right that helping with the kids is not her responsibility. However, paying for her vacation is not yours either. She has no right to be angry." RB1327 says, "Not the a-hole. Seems like this is a mutual advantage situation, where some people are getting a low-cost vacation because they are pitching in on the childcare duties. Sister doesn't want to participate. No problem, but no free vacation. I've been to amusement parks in a group where I wasn't even related to the people with kids, nor did I have any kids, and I still was willing to help so adults could do some rides too. This doesn't seem like a big ask at all. I, 36 female, have a 17-year-old daughter. 3 years ago, my daughter and I moved in with my boyfriend of 9 years. The house is technically in both of our names, but I've not worked for the last 9 years, so he's the reason we still live there. He has not gotten along with my daughter since we moved in, and he at one point earlier on said he was very wary about being married and becoming a stepfather since he is already a father of 3 kids, 2 of whom, 15 female, 13 female, still live in the house. He and my daughter fight a lot, and his 15-year-old in particular takes her dad's side in all their fights. During their latest argument, my boyfriend said he finally has had enough. He called me in and told me that he hates drama. He said that his kids' welfare comes first. So if my daughter's attitude was contributing to their, especially his 15-year-old's, apparent unhappiness, something has to give. He said he's always had a no a-holes policy in his business, but that extends to his family. He said that when my daughter turns 18, we could give her leeway to find a new place, but ultimately, this is his house, not hers. He said that he's saying right here, right now, that he does not want her in this house after she's an adult. But he said my name is on the house too, so he asked if I agreed or not. I honestly didn't know what else I could say, because it was his house first, and in many ways, it was his house more than it was mine. So I told my daughter that I'd help her find a job if need be, and a place, but I really couldn't do anything about it if my partner had made up his mind. He interjected and said he definitely had, and having an extra adult mouth to feed wasn't cheap. My daughter said I was a sellout, and that I should get a job to help her with getting an apartment, even though I spend all my time trying to run the house smoothly. Am I the a-hole? It seems sudden, but I think we can reasonably say that it was a long time coming. OP hasn't financially or emotionally supported her child for almost a decade, moved her into a place where she was unwelcome, and are now expecting her to be able to 100% support herself right at 18 because OP can't be bothered to get a job and help her out, and hasn't bothered for half of her life. What about education, college, trade school? Looks like OP didn't bother to think of those things for 9 years. I suspect OP's partner's kids will have all of that taken care of. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Yuki Daviji says, "You're the a-hole. You've been with him for 9 years, no ring, and he has clearly said he's wary of giving you one? Yet you choose him, someone who won't commit over your daughter. Your name is on the house. It's legally your home too. You gave no resistance. Just went, 'That's fine, honey. Let's kick my own kid out.' His kid's welfare takes priority over your own kid's welfare? Blended families take work, and it doesn't seem like any of you have been to therapy together if the fights are as bad as you're making them out to be." Botanical Brunch Skunked says, "A woman who chooses a man over their child is the worst kind of a-hole. You're the a-hole." Tohubohu 2021 says, "You're the a-hole. Your boyfriend, not husband, essentially called your daughter an a-hole, and you're all, oh well. That's awful. Like incomprehensible awful. And give me a break about I spend all my time running a household as to why you can't get a job. You don't have toddlers. You have teenagers. They do not require constant vigilance. I hope your daughter's father is a better parent to her than you are." So, about a decade ago, my 39 male, wife's 40 female, sister, 43 female, had reached out and asked if she would be a surrogate. My sister-in-law and her then husband could not physically, which ultimately led to a terrible divorce a few years prior to her asking my wife. Anyway, my wife agreed before speaking to me. When she did ask me, she told me she told sister-in-law she'd consider it after speaking with me. But a few months later, I found out she told sister-in-law yes, but would instead tell me that she was going through with it because of their family. I don't want kids, and neither does my wife. It was something we both had a hard no about from the beginning. I'm pretty sure we even had a conversation about surrogacy even then, and we both agreed no. The reason I remember this is because she knew of a woman who did it 3 times for 2 families privately for money, and I just remember her saying they couldn't pay me enough. When she asked me, after giving me a long explanation of why she wanted to do this, I told her I would support her decision to help her sister, but that I would have to ask for a divorce. She was shocked. I told her that although this is her body and her choice, it was something I didn't want to be a part of. That her surrogacy is still something she'd be at home with, and a responsibility that would still be forcing me into that, and I clearly did not want to be involved with, in my opinion. She and her sister had already basically planned it out. The sister would pay for everything, more specifically, of course, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I told her I disagree. She is my wife, and for 9 months, her body would undergo a change that could come with serious complications that involved life of another human being, to which I'd have no legal or biological rights to, of course. She was upset but understood, and I overheard her tell her sister that she can't go through with it because husband said so, and they said they'd revisit it in 6 months. I was appalled, and when I found this out later, I asked for a separation or couples counseling, being that she clearly disregarded me and saw it as a solo decision. We did counseling, and turns out there was a lot that needed to be worked on. May not be as surprising to you reading this now, but it was to me at the time then. We did therapy for about a year together, and discovered individual therapy within that to help with some of the challenges I faced with not only our relationship, but my other relationships in my life. Everything has improved significantly. Not perfect, but I'm satisfied. During this time, sister-in-law found someone through a program online, and we have a niece. She was over for dinner the other night, and she kept going on about this program, which wasn't out of the blue, considering she'd been talking about wanting another child. I got curious. Turns out, just a few weeks ago, we received an email from an online surrogacy program within our shared account claiming her application was denied. It was deleted, of course. When I asked her about it, she said it was a scam and not worry. I asked her if she had applied anywhere recently or if sister-in-law had reached out again, and she said no. Well, it's not a scam because I pressed into it, and they have an application on file from this past year that she filled out. I'm not sure where to go from here. Not only is she lying, but she clearly wants to have her cake and eat it too. Reasonably, with it being something she's downplaying on wanting to be a surrogate, is it worth doing therapy again? How do I approach this? Cultural Shape says, the application was denied because a responsible doctor or surrogacy program isn't going to approve someone to be a surrogate who's never been pregnant before, especially someone who's old enough that a pregnancy will automatically come with multiple risks another candidate wouldn't have. So not only is your wife apparently risking your marriage over something she knows darn well is a deal breaker and lying about it, she's doing it in pursuit of a goal that's not even wise or realistic. I don't think there's anywhere else for you to take that, other than back to counseling or a lawyer. No Astronaut says, there's no way your wife would be approved at her age. She's not thinking logically about being a surrogate, which makes me assume it's an irrational personal want. Does she regret not having kids? Does she just feel old and want to prove she wasn't? Who knows, but you need to ask her why. Could be a small stupid thing she did on a whim, or a deeper issue. She needs therapy again to get to the bottom of why she lied and crossed the boundary for this. Gosk 101 says, you don't want children, so your boundary is reasonable. I think you did great, making your position clear from the ground up. Now, the current situation is strange. Why would your wife pursue such applications when it is obviously not something she can hide? Could it be that your wife has changed her mind regarding not having children?